I got rich when I understood this. Money was never the goal. The goal was alignment. For years, I chased money, hustled, worked longer hours, took every opportunity that looked like it might give me just a little edge. But I stayed broke, not just financially, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, because I didn't understand that wealth doesn't start in your wallet. Wealth starts in your mind. The day everything shifted was the day I realized I was underpricing myself, not because of what the market said, but because of what I believed about me. I had skills, I had value, but I didn't believe I was worthy of being paid abundantly for it. And that's where most people miss it. They're praying for increase while thinking like someone stuck in survival. You can't attract abundance with a poverty mindset. I got rich when I understood that I didn't need to do more, I needed to become more. I stopped asking, how can I make money? And I started asking, how can I create value? That one shift opened the door to everything, because money flows to value. And value is not about being busy. Value is about solving problems that matter. Once I stopped talking about my struggle and started talking about my solution, the market paid attention. People don't pay for your pain, they pay for what your pain taught you. The breakthrough you're sitting on right now is something someone else is praying for. You just haven't packaged it. And here's what else I got. Money is a terrible master, but it's a powerful servant. Most people are slaves to money because they've made it their God. They wake up thinking about bills, go to sleep thinking about lack, and wonder why overflow avoids them. But when you put money in its place, when you treat it as a tool, not a trophy, it starts showing up differently in your life. You don't chase it, you call it, you attract it by becoming the kind of person who stewards abundance with purpose. I began to align myself with eternal principles. I started to believe what was already true, that I was created with purpose, on purpose, for purpose. And wealth is not a reward, it's a responsibility. If I can help more people, serve more people, lead more people, money is obligated to find me. That's how the universe is wired. You're not being punished by lack, you're just out of alignment. And here's the kicker. It wasn't enough to believe. I had to move. I had to act fast, because speed is spiritual. The longer you wait to implement an idea, the faster the doubt creeps in. And I realized rich people don't wait, they initiate. They move in faith before they see the facts. They act like they've already received what they're believing for, and that kind of energy, it's magnetic. So no, I didn't get rich because of a lucky break. I didn't get rich because I found the right opportunity. I got rich when I understood this, that wealth responds to identity, alignment, and action. You already have the seed. You just need to water it with belief, plant it in action, and protect it from doubt. I got rich when I stopped trying to get and started showing up to give. And when I became the kind of person who could handle wealth, wealth had no choice but to find me. And guess what? It'll find you too, once you understand this. Wealth begins with worth. This is the foundational truth that many overlook. See, we live in a world where we're constantly told to chase money, to strive, to hustle harder, to work longer hours. But I'm telling you, none of that matters until you first recognize your own value. You see, wealth isn't something you earn from the outside world, it's something you realize on the inside. Your worth is not determined by your paycheck, your job title, or your social media following. It's not tied to what you have, it's tied to who you are and what you believe you're capable of. The moment you understand your own worth, that's the moment you stop chasing money and start attracting it. Most people are working so hard for their next paycheck, always hustling for the next deal, the next opportunity, the next job. But let me tell you something. The richest people are not working the hardest. They're working with the highest level of value in mind. They know their worth, and they know that their time, their energy, their skills, all of that is valuable. And because they understand that, they don't waste their time on things that don't align with their worth. When you truly understand your worth, you stop accepting less than what you deserve. You stop settling for less because you know you have more to offer. And when you stop settling, that's when things start to change. You stop accepting low-pay jobs, low-value clients, and low-level opportunities. You start recognizing that you're worth more than the world has been showing you. And when that shift happens, everything changes. But here's the real key. Recognizing your worth doesn't mean you stop working hard. Doesn't mean you get lazy or complacent. It means you work smarter, not harder. You work on things that amplify your value, things that make you stand out, things that allow you to create massive impact in the lives of others. Because here's the truth. When you know your worth, you start demanding more from yourself, and the world starts meeting you at that level. You cannot rise above your own self-worth. If you believe you're only worth $30,000, 0 cents a year, that's exactly what you'll keep earning. If you believe you're only worth a mediocre relationship, that's the kind of relationships you'll keep attracting. If you believe you're only worth a small business, then you'll stay small. But the moment you start believing you're worth the very best, everything starts to change. People will start treating you differently. Opportunities will come knocking on your door. You will attract wealth because you believe deep down that you deserve it. When I understood that wealth begins with worth, my entire life transformed. I stopped doubting my potential. I stopped measuring my value by other people's standards. I started seeing myself as a valuable, capable, and abundant person. And as I started to believe in my worth, I started to see the opportunities that had always been around me, the same opportunities I had missed before because I didn't believe I was worth them. The richest people aren't necessarily the smartest. They're not always the hardest workers. They are the ones who believe in their own worth and act from that place. And I'm telling you right now, if you start to understand your worth, if you start to act from a place of confidence in your value, the world will begin to see you the way you see yourself. So ask yourself, what do you believe you're worth? Because once you truly understand your worth, wealth is no longer a pursuit. It's a natural consequence of who you've become. Money is a tool, not a god. Too many people in our world elevate money to a place it was never meant to be. We live in a society where money is often treated as the ultimate goal, the end-all, be-all measure of success. But here's the truth. Money is nothing more than a tool. It's a resource, a means to an end. It has no inherent power unless we give it power. And when we do, we start to lose sight of what really matters. The mistake many people make is worshiping money instead of using it as a tool to serve a higher purpose. When you make money your god, you start living in constant fear of not having enough, of losing what you have, or of never being able to reach the next financial milestone. Your entire existence becomes about accumulation. You measure your worth by your bank account, and you start making decisions based on fear instead of faith. Money is not meant to control you, it's meant to serve you. It's meant to help you do good in the world, to create opportunities, to build legacies, and to enrich the lives of others. The moment you begin to treat money as a tool, something you use to fulfill a purpose, rather than something that defines your purpose, everything shifts. You stop being ruled by scarcity and start being empowered by abundance. Think about the most impactful people in history. They didn't worship money. They used it to advance their vision, to build something greater than themselves. Whether it's building schools, feeding the hungry, or providing jobs. The true wealth comes from what you can create and give, not from what you can hoard. When you use money as a tool to help others, it multiplies. The more value you bring into the world, the more money flows to you. But when money is your god, your focus narrows, and everything becomes about how much you can take instead of how much you can give. This doesn't mean you should avoid wealth or shy away from financial success. Far from it. But it's about perspective. The key is to understand that money in and of itself is neutral. It's a piece of paper, a digital number on a screen. It holds no moral weight until you assign it one. If you believe money's the answer to all your problems, you'll never have enough, because money alone cannot fix what's broken inside. It cannot bring you peace, it cannot buy real happiness, and it cannot fill the void of a life lived without purpose. When you understand that money is just a tool, you stop chasing after it like a lifeline. You begin to use it for what it was meant to do, serve your mission. Money is the vehicle that can help you impact the world the way you were meant to. It can allow you to invest in the dreams you have, in the projects you're passionate about, and in the people you want to help. When you see money for what it really is, you no longer worry about it as a scarcity. You realize it's a resource to create, to give, and to build. Too many people spend their lives making money their master. They sacrifice relationships, health, and happiness, all in the name of accumulating more of it. But when you understand that money is a tool, you don't give it power over you. You take control of it. You set your goals based on what's important, not just based on what's financially profitable. You use money to support your values, to amplify your impact, and to live with purpose. In the end, money is just the byproduct of living with intention. When you focus on becoming the person who can provide real value to the world, the money will follow. It won't be the reason you wake up every morning, but it will be a powerful tool in the journey of fulfilling your purpose. Treat money as a tool to build a life of meaning, not as a god to worship, and you'll find that your wealth grows in ways you never imagined. Spiritual laws govern financial outcomes. This is something that many people overlook when they're trying to build wealth. They're so focused on the external strategies, the tactics, the marketing plans, the hustle, that they forget about the most important law of all, the law of the Spirit. The truth is, there's an invisible force at work in the world, something far greater than what we can see, touch, or measure. This force operates according to spiritual laws that govern the way we interact with wealth, abundance, and prosperity. These laws are not bound by time, space, or circumstance. They're universal principles that govern the flow of everything in life, including money. And when you understand these spiritual laws, you unlock a deeper, more profound level of success. The first law to understand is the law of sowing and reaping. This is not just a principle that applies to farming. It's a universal law. It's a law that governs every area of life, including your finances. What you put out into the world is what you receive back. When you give, whether it's your time, your energy, or your resources, you open the door for more to come back to you. And I'm not just talking about money here. I'm talking about value. The more you give, the more you receive in return. This is a spiritual law. It's not about calculating a transaction or making sure you get something for everything you do. It's about the heart posture of generosity, knowing that when you sow seeds of kindness, service, and value, the harvest will always come. But here's the thing. The law of sowing and reaping works both ways. If you sow negativity, scarcity, and fear into the world, that's exactly what you'll receive. If you're constantly focused on what you don't have, on lack, on the things you can't control, you're sowing seeds of limitation. And guess what? That's exactly what you'll reap. More limitation. Your financial outcomes are not just a reflection of what you do. They're a reflection of your inner beliefs, thoughts, and intention. The more you align your thinking with abundance, the more abundant your life will become. Another powerful spiritual law is the law of faith. Faith is not just a religious concept, it's a universal force. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. When you live in faith, you are acting as though your success is already guaranteed, even before you see the evidence. This is how the most successful people operate. They don't wait for the perfect conditions, they create them. They trust in the unseen forces that are at work behind the scenes, and they act with confidence that their efforts will bear fruit. Faith doesn't mean sitting back and doing nothing. It means moving forward, taking action, and trusting that what you're doing is in alignment with a higher purpose. When you have faith in your ability to create wealth, you're not waiting for the world to give it to you. You're stepping into the flow of abundance that is already available to you. You are declaring that financial freedom is not a possibility, it's a certainty because you believe in it. Then there's the law of gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful spiritual laws when it comes to attracting wealth. You cannot attract more of what you want if you're not thankful for what you already have. Gratitude opens the door for more blessings to flow into your life. When you are thankful for the money you have, no matter how little or how much, you create a vibration of abundance. And abundance cannot be denied. It will always find you when you recognize and honor. Gratitude also shifts your perspective. It moves you from a place of scarcity where you're constantly focusing on what you don't have to a place of abundance where you focus on what you do have. When you approach life with an attitude of gratitude, your financial outcomes begin to change. You start to notice opportunities that were always there, but that you had previously overlooked. You start to feel more open to receiving because you're no longer closed off by fear or insecurity. You understand that abundance is not a limited resource. It's a limitless flow that you can tap into at any time. And lastly, there's the law of alignment. This is where many people get stuck. They want wealth, but they're not aligned with it spiritually. They're not aligned with the energy of prosperity. They want financial freedom, but they're still holding on to limiting beliefs about money, success, or themselves. They're still living in fear, doubt, and lack. When you align yourself spiritually with the idea that wealth is your birthright, you start to magnetize it to you. This means letting go of the beliefs and behaviors that no longer serve you. It means embracing a mindset of possibility and abundance. And when you align with that, everything shifts. Your thoughts, your actions, your results. Spiritual laws are not just abstract concepts. They are real, powerful forces that govern the way money flows into your life. When you learn to work with these laws rather than against them, you unlock a higher level of financial success. You stop chasing money and start attracting it. You stop operating in fear and start moving in faith. You stop measuring your worth by your bank account and start measuring it by the value you create. And when you do that, you will find that money no longer controls you. It serves you, it empowers you, and it flows freely into your life. The marketplace rewards solutions, not struggles. This is one of the most critical realizations I've ever had about wealth creation. Too many people spend their time talking about their struggles, focusing on their pain, and telling the world how hard things are. And while I understand the challenges life throws at us, the truth is that the marketplace doesn't pay you for your struggles. It rewards you for the solutions you bring to the table. You see, no one cares about the problems you're facing unless you can provide a way out of them. Struggles are universal, but solutions are what set you apart. People are willing to pay for the answers to their problems, not for the problems themselves. The marketplace doesn't reward you for how tough your journey has been or how hard you've worked. It rewards you for the value you bring, the answers you offer, and the solutions you create. When you focus too much on your struggles, you create a cycle of scarcity. You become consumed with what's wrong, what's missing, and what's not working. That mindset keeps you stuck, but the moment you shift your focus from your struggles to the solutions you can offer, things start to change. When you look at your challenges as opportunities to create value for others, you stop seeing them as barriers and start seeing them as stepping stones to success. Take a moment to think about it. The businesses and entrepreneurs that thrive are not the ones who talk about how hard things are, but the ones who present clear solutions to the marketplace. The most successful people aren't those who complain about the economy, the competition, or their limited resources. They are the ones who figure out how to turn obstacles into opportunities, how to solve problems in a way that no one else can, and how to bring clarity where there's confusion. This is where the power of innovation comes into play. Innovation is simply finding a better way to solve a problem that already exists. The richest people in the world didn't create new problems. They solved old ones in a way that created massive value. They weren't trying to reinvent the wheel. They were just looking for a way to make it roll faster, smoother, or more efficiently. And because they provided solutions, they were rewarded with wealth, influence, and success. In every industry, from tech to healthcare, entertainment to finance, the people who win are the ones who solve the problems. They don't get rich by focusing on how tough things are. They get rich by focusing on how to make things better. When you start asking yourself, how can I solve this problem, instead of why is this happening to me, you begin to unlock the doors of opportunity. Solutions are what drive the marketplace, and when you become the person who consistently provides them, you become the person who thrives. Let's be clear, solutions don't always have to be grandiose or revolutionary. Sometimes the best solutions are simple and practical. It's not always about inventing the next big thing. Sometimes it's about improving something that already exists. Think about the apps or products you use every day. Some of them didn't necessarily invent new technology. They simply made existing technology easier, faster, or more accessible. That's where the value is, in simplifying, improving, and optimizing. And it's not just about the financial solutions you provide. It's about the emotional, mental, and relational solutions as well. People pay for solutions in every area of life. They'll pay for a coach who helps them overcome limiting beliefs, for a mentor who guides them through tough decisions, for a service that makes their life easier. When you offer solutions, you not only solve a problem, you also alleviate the emotional burden that comes with it, and that's priceless. So the key is to stop focusing on the struggle and start focusing on how you can solve the problem at hand. Shift your mindset from scarcity to abundance, from I can't to how can I. Every problem you face has a solution waiting to be discovered, and once you discover it, the marketplace will reward you. You don't need to make things harder than they are. Find the solution, and the marketplace will give you what you deserve. People are not paying you to listen to your problems, they're paying you to hear your solutions. The struggles you face are simply opportunities for you to step up, find answers, and create value. When you do that, you stop being a victim of your circumstances, and you start becoming the solution to them. And that's where wealth is created. The marketplace rewards the people who solve problems, not the ones who dwell in them. Your income is a reflection of your identity. This is a profound truth that many people fail to grasp. Too often we look at our financial situation and blame external factors, the economy, our job, the system, or even our upbringing. But the reality is your income is not determined by those things. It's determined by who you believe you are and who you believe you are capable of becoming. Your identity is the foundation of everything you do. It shapes your mindset, your decisions, and ultimately your actions. How you see yourself is how you move through life. If you see yourself as someone who deserves abundance, who is capable of creating wealth, and who is worthy of financial success, then your income will reflect that belief. But if you see yourself as someone who is stuck, who doesn't deserve to make more, or who isn't worthy of success, your income will reflect that belief too. The way you view yourself and your abilities directly influences the opportunities you see and take advantage of. When you believe that you are capable of more, when you believe that you are worthy of more, you begin to act differently. You start to seek out opportunities, you start to network with the right people, and you begin to take bold actions toward your goals. But when you believe you are limited or unworthy, you tend to shrink back. You play small, and you limit your potential. This isn't just about having a positive mindset or wishful thinking. It's about aligning your identity with the life you want to create. Your thoughts shape your actions, and your actions shape your results. If you want a higher income, you must first elevate your identity to match that level. It's not enough to simply wish for more money. You must believe deep down that you are someone who is capable of attracting and managing that money. A big part of this process involves shedding limiting beliefs. Many of us carry baggage from our past, things we were taught, experiences we've had, or even generational beliefs about money that shape our current identity. These beliefs create mental and emotional blocks that prevent us from stepping into our full potential. If you were raised with the belief that money is scarce or that rich people are greedy, you may unconsciously carry that mindset into your adult life. And this will impact your ability to generate wealth. But you can change these beliefs. You can decide today to redefine your identity. You can start viewing yourself as someone who is abundant, capable, and worthy of wealth. The moment you shift your identity, you begin to unlock your potential. This is where true transformation happens. Your external reality will begin to shift as your internal reality evolves. When you see yourself as someone who is abundant, you start to take actions that reflect that belief. You'll begin seeking out opportunities to add value, to solve problems, and to create wealth. And as a result, your income will naturally increase. This is not about faking it until you make it. It's about becoming the person who aligns with the kind of life you want to create. When you change your identity, everything around you begins to change as well. The people you attract, the opportunities you come across, and the results you get are all a reflection of who you've become. If you want to change your income, start by changing your identity. Start by believing that you are worthy of more, that you are capable of achieving more, and that you have the skills and knowledge to make it happen. Your income will never rise above your identity. If you believe you are worth $50,000, 0 cents a year, that's what you will consistently earn. But if you begin to see yourself as someone who is worth $500,000, 0 cents a year, your actions, mindset, and decisions will align with that identity, and the marketplace will respond accordingly. The gap between where you are now and where you want to be is bridged by your identity. The way you see yourself today determines the kind of opportunities you'll attract tomorrow. It's also important to understand that your income is not solely determined by your skills or experience. While those things play a part, they are not the deciding factor. Your income is more about your mindset, your beliefs, and your ability to perceive opportunities and take action on them. There are people with little formal education or experience who make far more than others because they have an identity rooted in abundance, confidence, and a deep belief in their own worth. The key to increasing your income is to elevate your identity. Start by shifting your thoughts, changing your beliefs about money, and stepping into a version of yourself that is deserving of financial success. As you change the way you see yourself, you will naturally take different actions that will lead you to new opportunities and greater wealth. Your income will follow because it is always a reflection of who you believe you are. Your income is not a reflection of your circumstances, it is a reflection of your identity. When you take ownership of your self-worth, your capabilities, and your potential, you begin to unlock the doors to wealth and success. And once you step into your true identity, one that is aligned with abundance, the possibilities are limitless. The speed of implementation equals the speed of elevation. This is a powerful truth that separates those who succeed from those who struggle. You can have all the knowledge in the world, all the plans and all the strategies, but if you don't take action quickly and decisively, you will remain stuck. The true difference between those who rise and those who stay stagnant is how quickly they move from planning to action. It's easy to get caught up in the planning phase. We spend hours, days, or even months trying to perfect our strategy, making sure everything is in place and overthinking every possible outcome. But here's the reality. No plan is perfect and no strategy is foolproof. There will always be unexpected twists, obstacles, and uncertainties. The key isn't in having a flawless plan, it's in having the courage to act quickly and adjust along the way. The faster you implement, the faster you learn. Each step you take toward your goal brings you closer to the lessons you need to learn. There's no textbook or course that can teach you what real-world action can. By taking action, you're exposing yourself to real feedback, whether that's from the market, from customers, or from your own experiences. This feedback is invaluable because it allows you to pivot, adjust, and optimize your approach. Think about the greatest innovators and entrepreneurs in history. None of them waited for the perfect conditions before they moved forward. They didn't sit on their ideas for years, perfecting every detail. They implemented quickly, failed fast, and then improved along the way. The speed at which they implemented allowed them to scale faster, learn more, and grow more than their competitors who were too afraid to take that first step. In life and in business, inaction breeds stagnation. The longer you wait to implement, the more you delay your progress. Every second you spend sitting on your ideas or waiting for the right moment is time wasted. The right moment is now. The moment to act is always now. If you want to elevate your life, your business, or your income, you have to act quickly. And that means making decisions fast, taking risks, and moving with purpose. The faster you implement, the faster you elevate. Now, I'm not talking about acting recklessly or without thought. I'm talking about making decisions and executing them with confidence, even when you don't have all the answers. The fear of making a mistake or failing often holds people back. But here's the thing. Failure isn't the enemy. Inaction is. When you take action, even if things don't go as planned, you're moving forward, you're learning, adjusting, and growing. And that growth is what leads to elevation. Speed also builds momentum. When you take consistent, quick action, you start to build a snowball effect. The more you do, the more you accomplish, and the faster you move toward your goal. It's easier to keep going when you're already in motion than when you're standing still. The power of momentum cannot be overstated. Once you've built it, it becomes much easier to keep elevating. But if you're stuck in the planning stage, analyzing every possible outcome, you'll never gain that momentum and you'll never elevate. There's also a psychological component to speed of implementation. The faster you act, the more confident you become in your ability to make decisions and take control of your outcomes. You begin to see yourself as someone who is decisive, someone who can take bold steps and make things happen. This identity shift is powerful because it propels you forward, pushing you to take even more action and make even bigger moves. Speed and implementation is not just about getting things done, it's about reinforcing your belief in yourself and your ability to succeed. Elevating your life requires you to move beyond hesitation and fear. It requires you to act now, to stop waiting for the perfect plan or the ideal conditions. It's about taking the leap and trusting that the course will become clearer as you go. By taking swift, consistent action, you speed up your growth, your learning, and your success. You create opportunities for yourself that you would never have encountered if you had stayed in the planning phase.